Hey, welcome back. Listen, I got a good one for you today. It's a special show. It's weekend, so, Saturday, get to drink a little more bourbon than usual, but this is going to take a little bit, so let's get right to it. All right, we've got Beam Suntory line, as far as the ones I own anyway. I do own another Knob Creek, but I'm going to do the 100 proof in this tasting. I have the 120 up there as well. But I'm missing, of course, Jim Beam, regular, and Maker's Mark. I usually go for the Maker's 46 instead of the regular Maker's Mark. And if you don't have the VR visors, you may need to scroll around a little bit. I don't know if you're going to get all this in frame, but I have them lined up here from what I consider to be the lowest end to the highest end of what I own. I know some people may argue about Basil Hayden's, but it's a little light in the pants, lower octane alcohol. So, it kind of moves it down a little bit because of complexity. You lose some strength and complexity when you lose alcohol content. I don't really buy regular Maker's Mark because I like the 46. The only difference is it's Maker's Mark that's put into a different oak barrel that has some French oak staves in it, and then they let it age a little longer. Gives it a tiny bit more complexity. But we're going to start down here and work our way up. And I can already tell you, this is not going to have the legs. The legs are going to get better and better as we go down the line. And that's part of it. The legs are the oils in the bourbon, how it coats the tongue, the flavors, if you get a good finish on it and all of that. So let's go ahead and nose Maker's 46 here. And I can tell you right on the nose, I'm getting the typical bourbon notes. Don't get me wrong. Vanilla, caramel, apple, things like that. And I'm going to get that out of almost every one of these. But this is a little bright on the nose as compared to some of these others. It's not as soft, okay? It's not as refined. It comes across as a younger bourbon. And as far as the legs go, I'm getting a ring, but I'm getting real fast and thin wash trails coming down, where the droplets come down. As we get over here, they'll come down slow and fat. That's more legs to it. But let's go ahead and give this one a taste. Yeah, very ordinary. Few notes. A little hot on the tongue. Not bad. I mean, the alcohol content on it, I think, is 45 or something. Yeah, 94 proof, 47%. So it's not a high alcohol content, but it drinks kind of above itself as far as the alcohol content goes. Now, the next one's Knob Creek. I can already see the color is a little darker in the knob. I think it's aged maybe a little more. I don't know. Like I said, I don't look up all the little fancy notes on these things, and I certainly don't look up any other people's reviews. Softer on the nose, right off the bat, even though it's a higher alcohol content. So that's something to keep in mind. Still about the same, maybe a little heavier on the legs. Yeah, slightly. Knob Creek's a great bourbon. So let's go ahead and give this one a taste. Yep. Good, nice finish compared to Maker's Mark. And there's nothing wrong with Maker's Mark. I'm just saying, I keep it around in case somebody comes over and they're like, I want to mix something with it or whatever. Okay, use my Maker's Mark, Maker's 46. The Knob Creek, a little more caramel note to it, a little, maybe getting into some, maybe some roasted apple instead of just fresh apple, a little darker on that. Now this one, super soft. I can tell you already. And like I said, some people argue that this is a more refined bourbon, but I don't know. It's just so light and airy. Yeah, I can, after nosing those, I can barely get anything off the nose of this. Yeah, it's, I'm getting some vanilla come through, but it's hard to find. But really, really good legs compared to the other two that we've just tried. I mean, I'm getting some really good trails there, good thicker. Oh man, yeah, that's like drinking flavored water after some of these, and I wanted to try them in order, and I could probably kind of kill Basil Hayden's, but Basil Hayden's is an awesome bourbon for, like an afternoon bourbon or something like that, or just sitting around with a friend, because if you don't kill it with other things, it stands on its own very well, and there's absolutely nothing off-putting about it. Actually, if someone's like, I don't know if I like bourbon or not, well, I'll tell you what, try a little taste of this, and then we'll figure out where to go from there, because this is just a super soft bourbon. Oh yeah, and the alcohol content on it, good legs. Is 40%, 80 proof. So, this is one of the lowest ones I have. I think it is the lowest one I have on my shelf. But let's move along here for the sake of time to Baker's. And this is the 7, the 107 proof. So we're picking up, above the 100 mark. And this is Baker's, this is a single barrel, the 7-year. I can already tell you we're going to get into some darker notes, I know from memory, but let's go ahead and give her a go here. Let me get some more air into this. Yep, right on the nose. Now, of course, a little tiny bit higher alcohol content, but I'm getting more of that darker caramel oaky nose on it. Yeah, and I'm picking up those wood notes in there. And if you haven't watched it, go back and watch how to create a nosing kit. I have a video on that, and how to mix things with vodka, like a 40% vodka, and it brings those notes out. Leave it in there several weeks or whatever, and come back to it. But that will help you detect some of those wood notes. Oh, wow. Yeah. We just leapt forward from down here to the shelf up here, right? We have jumped. I am getting some leathers in here, probably hints of tobacco, dried, cooked fruits, more refined, more aged, more toasty notes in it. It probably has some roasted barley or something in the mash, along with wheat and of course corn. Yeah, we just went light years forward from these. Now, this, like I said, before you taste anything else, this is going to be a great bourbon, and it would make a good gift for someone who kind of likes bourbon. But these, now we're stepping it up. But let's go into Booker's. This is a 2019 03 Country Ham, 62.35, so 124.7 proof. It's 6 years and 4 months and 2 days is what they have on the age statement. Color wise, it's very similar to the Baker's. I even put it in the Bourbon Bounty logoed glass because I know it's my favorite from this lineup that I have here. Yep. Now, of course, typical bourbon notes, but man, we're getting dark now. Yeah, we're getting into the really dark caramel, probably into molasses. The legs on it are really strong. Wow. There it is. That's the hug. That's the tickle. That's the one I love right there. Now, I love the higher proofs, but man, that molasses, that deep oaky notes, way into the stiffer leather and tobacco zone, you know, as far as the spices go. But really soft, drinks below its alcohol content. And well worth the money you would spend on it, in my opinion. So, as far as wildflowery sweetness, these two, this one, it burns itself over. Maker's Mark, like I said, I'm not dogging on Maker's Mark. It's a fine bourbon in and of itself, but it is brighter, younger, more pointed, and it hides a lot of its notes. Just a typical lower shelf bourbon. Now these, you're stepping up a little bit. But from here to here, you're going probably top shelf. But like I said, we killed this one with those. Now you're getting into your really, really good stuff and your toasted notes and your leathers, tobaccos, and all of that over here. And even into the really deep molasses and things like that. So it's all personal preferences, whatever you want to spend. You know, I think I have these in order of price. I don't know. It varies geographically, but I'm pretty sure this is low next. I may have these two crisscrossed because this is kind of overpriced. But I know this one is the absolute highest price because it's cast strength, barrel proof, you know, all that. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope you found this useful. If so, please like and subscribe and hit that bell down there for notifications. And I promise I'll keep bringing you these videos.